Imagine this. You hear the crackle of static, a voice, desperate, cutting through the noise. In the background, a firefight is raging. What if you could drop right into the middle of any action scene you could possibly dream up? Well, let's dive into a game system that lets you do exactly that. It all starts with this, a garbled radio call from a place you do not want to be. That's Lieutenant Mark Harris, and you can just tell things are going very, very wrong for him. It gets worse. He's confirming a threat Zulu. His whole team is gone, he's been wounded, and he's calling for an airstrike on his own position. This isn't just a bad day, this is the end of the line. And just like that, command responds. Strike is inbound, ETA 3 mics. 3 minutes. That's it. 3 minutes until his spot on the map is completely wiped out. What a cliffhanger, right? What kind of world is this from? So that incredibly intense radio chatter, that was a little peek directly into the world of a game called Wraith. It's a system that's built from the ground up for exactly this kind of high-stakes tactical action. So what is it really? Well, at its heart, Wraith is a squad-level combat game. We're talking gritty, modern conflict. Think special operators, local militias, that kind of thing. And it's got some serious history. It was first developed way back in 1984, but it's been refined and updated for today's gamers. And right about now, you might be thinking, okay, that sounds cool, but, modern military stuff isn't really my jam. And hey, that's a totally fair point. But what if I told you that opening scene wasn't just modern military? This is where things get really, really interesting. You see, that modern combat setting, that's just the basic framework. The real power of this system is something called world primers. These world primers are the secret sauce. They're basically little source books that take the core rules, that solid tactical foundation, and just completely adapt it to entirely new worlds, new genres, even different time periods. The system is a universal toolkit. So 1 minute you could be clearing a building as a special operator, and the next, bam, you're a knight in shining armor fighting off dark magic in a high fantasy world with the Kingdoms of Galadorn primer. Fantasy not your style? No problem. How about we jump into the future with the Wraith, cyber. Think bioenhancements, full-on robotics, the whole cyberpunk shebang. And that brings us right back to where we started. Remember Threat Zulu? Well, that comes from the Wraith, Omega, where you play as elite soldiers fighting everything from bioengineered monsters to actual supernatural horrors. It's the perfect blend of genres. Okay, so you're probably wondering, how can one system possibly handle a dragon and a cybernetically enhanced assassin? Well, the answer lies in its award-winning simplicity, and it all boils down to 2 really core ideas. The entire game is built around this thing called your BTH, or base to hit. It's just a number that represents your character's raw skill. Now, here's the key thing to remember. Unlike a lot of other games, the lower your BTH, the better you are. Then you take that number and add situational stuff to it, and that gives you your THN, your total hit number. Let's break down what an attack looks like. It is so straightforward. You start with your character's BTH. Then you add modifiers from the situation. Is the target behind a wall? Are they sprinting? All of that gets added together to become your total hit number. Then you just grab a 20-sided die, roll it, and try to beat that number. That's it. Simple, fast, and tactical. And to give you an idea of how much that starting BTH number matters, just look at this comparison. A regular civilian, someone with 0 combat training, they're starting with a BTH of 12. That's a pretty high number to have to beat. But an elite operative, their BTH is all the way down at a 4. They have a massive head start before a single modifier even comes into play. But, of course, raw skill isn't the whole story. This is where the tactics really come alive. Pretty much everything you do and everything the target does matters. Taking cover, how fast they're moving, even their size. All of these things are going to add or subtract from your BTH, making that shot easier or harder. This is the heart of the game's strategy. Let's look at this in action. Say your character has a BTH of 8. You're targeting a terrorist standing right out in the open. Your final number to beat, your THN, is just 8. Pretty easy shot. But what if that same guy ducks behind some hard cover? Boom, that adds 8, and your THN is now 16. That's a tough shot. Now let's go supernatural. A vampire running at you, your THN is 12. But a vampire in mist form moving at ludicrous speed, now your THN is all the way up at 18.
You've got to change your tactics on the fly.
So, yeah, the mechanics are simple, they're elegant, and they work across all these genres. But at the end of the day, Wraith is about something bigger. It's not trying to be a rigid set of rules. It's really just a toolbox that the designers are handing you to build whatever you want. And the creators have a fantastic sense of humor about just how flexible their system is. They actually state in the rulebook that there are certain primers they will not be exploring, including, and I'm quoting here, 50 Shades of Grey denied interdimensional insurance. So, okay, maybe there are some limits. But for the most part, this game is an open invitation. It's giving you the framework to pick your absolute favorite genre, to define the rules of your own reality, to create your own unique skills and gear, and to tell the stories that you've always wanted to tell. Like the book says, you're only limited by your imagination. Which really leaves us with just one big final question. The system gives you the tools to build pretty much anything: high fantasy, gritty sci-fi, supernatural horror, and anything and everything in between. So with a toolbox this powerful, what world would you create?